Traders, how are you? Marcello, founder of the Day Trading Academy, co-founder of Speed Up Trader. Today we're going to be doing the recap of the third week of the new year. Technically the second full week, but you guys feel me. Monday, the market was lower. Internet stocks came under a lot of pressure after a lot of them banned and censored President Trump after the siege on the Capitol. A lot of investors are actually fearing more regulation in the sector as well. Tuesday, slightly higher. We had record highs in the S&P 500 and in NASDAQ. This was part of the earnings season. I was missing the word earnings. And a partial China trade deal as well. Wednesday, we had the market that was higher. A lot of optimism in regards to the economy. Obviously, if you didn't hear, Biden's going to plan a $1.9 trillion new stimulus because we obviously don't have enough debt, and that's obviously not a problem. And other than that, we have a recent demonstration. Due to the fact that the recent deterioration of the labor market after the reports that came out since last August on Thursday. So it dropped on Thursday. Friday, the market ended lower as well, pushed down by the U.S. banks and their earnings reports, in addition to ExxonMobil admitting that they're having a probe by the SEC done due to a valuation of one of their fields in the Permian Basin. Overall, for the week, the Dow went down 0.34%, the S&P 500 went down 1.49%, and the NASDAQ went down 1.56%. Overseas market news, Spain, biggest loser in Europe at 2.15%. Latin American, Canadian markets, the Merval in Argentina was the biggest loser at 2.32%, while Canada went down 0.57%. Africa and the Middle East, Egypt was the biggest winner. Most were far higher at 4.57%. And then Asia and Australia were mixed as well. Hong Kong went up 2.49%, while the Kospi in South Korea went down 2.14%. A lot of volatility in Bitcoin this week. It went up 14%, 40%, then it went down 14%. It closed at about 37,388.80. It's down 6.93% for the week, even though the previous week it went up by 35%. Finance and banking news. Trump is known as the king of debt in a lot of the building circles. He added $7 trillion in debt in his first term, exactly about 6.7. I just looked up the number for Obama, which was 8.8 trillion. So this is why I always tell you guys that it's really not about the left or the right. It's really about the government in general. Obama added more debt to the federal debt in the United States than every single president combined in history in the U.S. So, we were kind of going like this, and then all of a sudden, boop, right? And now Trump in 4 years added almost as much debt as Obama did in 8 years. So now now we're not slowing down because Biden now literally first day, he wants to add on $2 trillion. I mean, this is really not going to end well for anybody. And even though I haven't done as many videos on the English side as I have on the Spanish side, we're not going to see very good results on the dollar. And I think we're going to have a pretty strong crash in the dollar, probably anywhere between 3 to 5 years, but I'm going to say 3 to 7 years due to the fact that we just can't continue to print this amount of money. As soon as we get a little bit of inflation, which is most likely going to happen at the end of this year, 2021, the interest on the debt is going to increase by enormous amounts, and then we're not going to be able to finance the debt, and it's just going to be a downward spiral. And then after that, I think we're really seeing the end of the American empire overall, which is a shame because, it's the best country in the world. Commodities, the American Petroleum Institute, it's the U.S.'s it's the largest and most powerful oil lobby in the U.S. is losing one of its largest members, which is Total, which is the biggest oil company out of France. They're quitting because of their stances on regulation and carbon pricing, in addition to the fact that they don't like that they're giving money to politicians that oppose the climate agreement. U.S. crude for the week was up 0.22% to $52.36. International Brent was down 1.61% to $55.10. And oil prices overall for the year hit a 1-year high. Remember when it went negative last March? Crazy, right? And palladium has become one of the most valuable four major precious metals due to the ongoing shortage that's been driving prices up for years. I don't know if you guys remember, I think this was during the crisis in 2008, 2009. There was actually people stealing the palladium in the catalytic converters in cars. That's one of the key components to be able to control the pollution that comes out of cars. And people would just, they were just two guys would come, one on the left, one on the right. They would come, just cut. The other guy would take it. We might see something like this in the future due to the fact that it becomes so valuable. It might be worth it to start doing that again for them. It's gold always in history classically has been one of the most expensive precious metals, but now palladium is kind of taking that crown overall. Precious metals went down gold went down 1.16% to 1829. Remember that it hit a record high in 2020, and silver went down 2.45% to about $24.89. In political news, we're going to finally see a change in power in Germany after 16 years. This federal elections in September, Chancellor Angela Merkel is going to pass the reins to a new chairman called Armin Laschet. If I have any Germans that are watching, let me know how to do that let me know how to say that in the comments. They are she's a little bit more of a centrist, but she's going to try to unite the party that has been in a bit in disarray due to what's happening in Germany. Economic news, U.S. retail sales declined further in December, 0.7% after a lot of the renewed government shutdowns in places like California, New Jersey, Pennsylvania had it as well, even New York, a lot of the states in the West as well. And this is due to them trying to rein in the COVID-19. It is the latest sign, however, in the economy is starting to slow at the end of 2020. There's been another 965,000 Americans that filed for first-time unemployment benefits last week. I've been trying to tell you guys, it's been, almost 20 years I've been in this business. Learn how to trade. You don't have to close your business. If you learn how to trade, you can do it online. The stock market, money never sleeps, guys. It's up sharply from 784,000 the previous week. And now the U.S. in December also lost about 140,000 jobs in December. The World Bank is also estimating that the world economy is going to grow at 4%. Which they brought down from an expected 4.2%. And President Lagarde from the ECB, the European Central Bank, is stating that the Eurozone is going to grow most likely 3.9% if they end the lockdown measures by March and they distribute the vaccines adequately. In corporate news, shares of Tesla surged 7.84% on Friday, pushing the market cap above $800 billion, almost in the exclusive $1 trillion club. It's up actually 24.71% in 2021, up 820% in a year. And in 2020, remember that Tesla actually outperformed Bitcoin in 2020 with 743%. Other than that, the reason why it surged was because there's a lot of an aggressive expansion to be able to deliver more than 50% of vehicle deliveries in 2021 compared to 2020. And shares of the social media platform Twitter fell 10% on Monday after they deleted permanently the account of President Trump, and the 2001 gains for the stock also have been wiped out. Carnival Corporation, the cruise company, reported an adjusted loss of about $1.9 billion in the fourth quarter, a total loss of $2.2 billion. The consensus or the expectation from analysts was at $1.6 billion. They did end up, however, with $9.5 billion in cash. Maybe you and I should get into that business because it looks like a good business overall. And they're burning at about $500 million in cash. But a bright note is that for the first half of 2022, their future reservations are actually ahead of 2019. So it looks like that's actually recovering as well. And ExxonMobil, they went down 4.81% due to the fact that they reported that they have allegedly overvalued a key asset in the Permian Basin, so they're being investigated by the U.S. SEC. And Trump administration is further damaging Chinese big businesses, including the smartphone maker Xiaomi. Xiaomi is now the third largest smartphone manufacturer in the world. It surpassed Apple. So you have Samsung, Huawei, and now Xiaomi. And they added 9 firms to the list and a lot of restrictions, including the fact that they can't invest in America, and their stocks actually collapsed in the Hong Kong Exchange about 10%. WhatsApp updating the privacy policy after they caused mass confusion, as reported by the news. Everybody started jumping ship. Don't forget to download Signal or even Telegram, and I would delete WhatsApp altogether. But now they're saying that they're not going to make this update until May 15th because they say because of the confusion, but obviously it's because of the backlash. And other than that, investment news, Chinese internet giant Baidu, that's the Google of China, is going to team up with a car maker in China called Geely to be able to form a new company to produce electric cars. Geely is going to handle the manufacturing and the making of the car, while Baidu, which is the Google of China, they're going to take care of the software, the technology for the car. Ford is planning to end its production in Brazil and close 3 plants. They're going to spend about $4.1 billion in pre-tax charges to go ahead and readjust their South American operations. And Walmart, because they don't have enough money already, are starting a new fintech startup to develop and offer new and more affordable financing. In other words, they want to make more money off of us. Called the Arrambide Capital. They're going to own the majority of the new company. And China vehicle sales are up 9 consecutive months on an annual basis. In December, went up by 6.4%. And it looks like they're leading the recovery in the global automotive industry after the COVID pandemic obviously destroyed that business. Overall, sales have been falling the third year since 2020. But overall, they're starting to recover quite a bit. And international events, global coronavirus infection rates have now surpassed 90 million, with about 2 million deaths surpassed the death poll. I murdered that one. Let me start that one over. The global coronavirus infection rates have now surpassed 90 million, with the death toll now surpassing 2 million in the world. And they're saying that we might not receive the herd immunity in 2021 due to the fact that now getting a vaccine is not enough, apparently. And they're citing poor access to the vaccines in poor countries, in addition to trust problems and potential virus mutations. Big earthquake hit Indonesia. There's also a huge volcano that's went off in the next 10 years. For those of you guys that have been following me, generally, a lot of the things that I tell you guys about generally tend to happen. But the next 10 years is going to be very challenging, not only, I think, with environmental problems like earthquakes and volcanoes and those kinds of things, but also I believe we're going to have social problems and other kinds of things as well. And the U.S. imposes additional sanctions on companies in Iran, China, and the United Arab Emirates, that's where Dubai is, due to the fact that they were doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran with shipping lanes and 3 Iranian entities, and against conventional arms proliferation. And in unusual facts, Facebook and Twitter, after permanently banning Trump, the market value of the two companies went down by over $51.2 billion in just 2 trading sessions. That's the news for this week, guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.